Hello YouTube and welcome to lesson 23 of the After Effects tutorial series. So today we're going to look at how to use expressions inside of After Effects. And to use expressions, what you have to do is you need to have a bit of a programming background. So if you already have that, then you're good to go. So in order to use expressions inside of After Effects, then what you have to do is you have to do a basic keyframe right here. So let's try to add an expression onto this for a simple loop. So there are a lot of expressions that you can find on the web, and you can simply just copy and paste them to have interesting animations that you otherwise wouldn't have from a regular After Effects setup. So what you can do over here is let's just add in a rotation animation to this from 6 seconds to 8 seconds. So let me add in a keyframe to rotation right there, and then add in a rotation right here as well as 360. So now if I do this, then the rotation actually happens just like this. So now you can see that there's only animation inside on the places where there's a keyframe. So if I want this to repeat infinite number of times over the infinite number of times, then I can use something called expression. And to access expression, what you have to do is you have to press Alt and then click on the stopwatch icon right here. And once you do that, the transformation where you can add in the code is here. So I want to loop this out. So for that, I'm going to go into the expression menu right here, expression language menu. And then for that, I'm going to use an effect. So I'm going to use an effect for loop. So let me see where the loop is over here. So inside of property, you can see something called loop out. So if I were to use loop out over here, then what happens is that it cycles okay, let me use loop out cycle. And once I do that, what happens is that it actually loops out after the keyframe is over. So what that does is it repeats the keyframe. But since I'm using loop out, it is actually looping out right there and not looping in. So on the first part, if I were to play this, you can see that it is not looping in at all. So I'm going to use loop in instead, and then what it does is it loops in now. So now what happens is that it repeats before the keyframes and not after the keyframes are over. So this is how loop in and loop out actually works inside of After Effects. Over here, instead of cycle, if I were to add in ping pong, then it does the ping pong effect. So what it happens is it plays and reverses. So it plays and reverses the effect. So it actually reverses as well. So once the keyframe actually goes forward and then backward, which does the ping pong effect. So this is done with the help of a code inside of After Effects. So I can do this in the rotation. I can also add in a keyframe onto the position. For example, let me just press Alt over here, and here let me just use a code called wiggle, which actually adds in a vibration to the animation. So let me use 3x3 as the animation wiggle, and then just enter this out. So what happens is that you can see a bit of a shake, which is quite fast over here. So it's in the position. Let me do 30 by 30 pixel right here. So once I do 30 by 30 pixel, you can see that it is starting to wiggle quite fast. So now over here, let me add in 300 instead of 30, and let's see what happens. So now the wiggle is actually in more spaces than this 30 pixels. So the first one is the space, and then the second one is the time. So let me just go for 500, and now let's see the result. What happens is that now the pixel jumps from over 500th of a time. So if I were to do 1000 again, 1000, then it actually slows down, and then the wiggle is affected. So you can see that you can add in code to create various animations, random animations, quite easily inside of After Effects. You can find tons of effects from the expression menu right here, or also in the internet you can find some pre-made expressions that you can use for your animation. So this is how you can code animation into After Effects for unique effects. So hope you guys learned something as always, and as always, please like, comment, share, subscribe.